Hi, and welcome back to Magic ASMR. If you're new here, please do like and subscribe. In this video, I have came back with the old Storytime series. So this is the first episode from season 2. Season 1 was just paranormal experiences, spooky stories. So if you're interested in that, then I do have a playlist on my channel with all the episodes. But this Storytime season is gonna be about information I want to share with you that I can't really film it. So whether it's gonna be a book or an experience, of course this will be related to the occult or the paranormal or in general with the spiritual world. I decided to call it the Occult Library just because I'm going to mostly talk about various books that I read on the subject. So without further ado, this one is just part 1 of the Etheric Double by A. Powell. This is a book that I finished maybe a month ago. So I'm going to talk about what the Etheric Double is, a couple of its characteristics, what does it do, how does it look like. I'm not going to quote anything from the book, but I'm going to try to explain as simple as possible what the Etheric Double is. Just like a side note, the author actually took the information for this book from various sources, and also it was written, I think, more than 100 years ago, so just take everything with your grain of salt. So when I first started reading The Mental Body, I realized that I'm actually in the middle of the series, and the first book was the Etheric Double, and some things weren't making sense to me. So I finished The Mental Body, which was quite a challenge. There were a lot of concepts that didn't make sense to me, and after I finished the Etheric Double, I actually connected a couple of dots in regards to our existence, really. So what is the Etheric Double? Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we don't have only the physical body. We also have the astral body, and we go to the astral planes and we project astrally. We also have a mental body. We have also a causal body, and of course we do have an etheric body or an etheric double. And the Etheric Double is quite necessary to the life of the physical body. And you may think that the physical and the etheric and the astral and the mental and the causal bodies are all separate entities. However, I found out that they connect intimately. They're not like a separate vehicle of consciousness. And the Etheric Double specifically receives and distributes the vital force which emanates from the sun, and so it impacts our physical health. The Etheric Double is also known as the doppelganger, which is a German word, and I'm sure you've heard about doppelgangers before, and whether these said doppelgangers could be a separate entity which have nothing to do with humans or the human body or the Etheric Double. That's a completely different story. I'm not gonna touch on that in this video. However, if we search on Google Doppelganger is a biologically unrelated look-alike or a double of a living person. In fiction and mythology, a doppelganger is often portrayed as a ghostly or paranormal phenomena and is usually seen as a harbinger of bad luck. Other traditions and stories equate a doppelganger with an evil twin. This was the definition from Wikipedia. Again, this is not what I'm talking about. I feel like this term has been related to some sightings of evil entities that might take your shape and form. However, your etheric double is just a vehicle that is closely connected to your physical body and that helps you with your physical health. So after death, the physical body and the etheric double get separated, and it has been given other names as well, such as wraith or phantom, apparition, or churchyard ghost. I need to mention though that the etheric body eventually dissolves. Usually this process takes just a couple of hours, but it can take up to a couple of weeks after death. So every particle of your physical body, so it doesn't matter if it's solid, liquid, or gaseous, is surrounded with an etheric envelope. That's why it's called the etheric double, because it's kind of like a perfect duplicate of your physical one. When I was reading about it, I didn't think the size of the etheric double would actually matter. Like I didn't imagine it in such a way, but apparently it just sits a quarter of an inch beyond your skin. So a quarter of an inch is what, 2.5 centimeters? A quarter of an inch is literally just above your skin. However, this etheric body also has an aura, and this aura is frequently called the health aura, and this one sits several inches beyond the skin. So let's talk about its functions. Firstly, it absorbs prana and distributes it throughout the entire body. So what is prana? Based on the Wikipedia definition, in yoga, Indian medicine, and Indian martial arts, prana permeates reality on all levels, including inanimate objects. In Hindu literature, prana is sometimes described as originating from the sun and connecting the elements. 5 types of prana, collectively known as the 5 vayus, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, are described in the Hindu texts. I think the author also calls it vitality, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. You can find a lot of information online about prana. So the second function of the etheric double is that it acts like a bridge, like I said earlier, between your physical body and the astral body. So according to the author, it's actually a two-way connection. It transmits some consciousness information from the physical body through the etheric brain and then to the astral body, and then also the other way around, just transmitting consciousness from the astral and higher levels down into the physical brain and the nervous system. An interesting fact that I found in this book is that after the effect of an anesthetic has been worn off, usually there's no memory in your brain of the time you spend in the astral vehicle. Because apparently the etheric body just wraps around the astral body and dulls the consciousness. Hence making you forget what you've done while you are out of your body. So obviously when you are, let's say you're having surgery and you're under the effect of an anesthetic, normally either then or when you sleep or whether you're doing it intentionally, you would go project your astral body into one of the astral realms, and you would spend time there. But however, because of the etheric body does that, it just makes you forget. I found that quite interesting because I'm pretty sure some people actually do remember that, so I wonder what causes them to remember. You can also project into your etheric double. However, this has to be made by a trained expert, and apparently if you do so, your body will seem torpid and the mind will be in kind of a dazed state. The eyes will have kind of an lifeless expression, and the temperature will be much lower. And apparently it's very dangerous to make any sudden noises or to surprise someone by breaking into the room while they're projecting, because the double will immediately come back to your body, and it may cause some palpitations in your heart, and that might complicate a bit, so I don't want to scare you with details. Again, this is done by a trained expert. Another thing that I found interesting was, you know how people sometimes, for any reason whatsoever, they have lost a limb, and then they complain that they can feel pain at the extremities of the amputated limb. So where whatever the hand or the foot used to be. And that's because obviously the etheric double still exists and it still acts like you have legs or arms. Again, this should go away with time. Now for the next part, I wasn't sure if the chakras that we have in the physical body are the same as in the etheric body, because there was a mention that the etheric double has 4 centers or chakrams. That's how they are called in Sanskrit. So they basically means like a wheel or a revolving disc. So they are just energy centers. And again, I'm not sure if the term chakra, which I'm sure you have heard, the body has 7 chakras, etc. I'm not sure if they're the same as the ones from the etheric double. Maybe those are the ones that we actually feel and work with. However, they do mention that we do have these in each one of our vehicles or bodies. So that would imply that the physical body and the etheric and the astral, etc., would have these chakras. Now, if we go on Google again, chakras are various focal points used in a variety of ancient meditation practices, collectively denominated as Tantra or the esoteric or inner tradition of Hinduism. The concept of the chakra arose in the early tradition of Hinduism. The modern Western chakra system rose from multiple sources starting in the 1880s, followed by Sir John Woodrow's 1919 book, which is called The Serpent Power, and Charles W. Leadbetter's 1927 book called The Chakras, which introduced the 7 rainbow colors for the chakras. Now this is what I found on Wikipedia, and I found it interesting because A. Powell, the author for this book, usually quotes Charles W. Leadbetter quite often in the book, and I feel like he took a lot of the information from him. So these chakrams are situated on the surface of the etheric double. So that is again about 1/4 of an inch above your skin. These can be seen by clairvoyant people as like wheels or like saucers that are rotating really fast. And again, it's the lack of development of the etheric chakrams or centers, which accounts for the failure to bring into the physical brain memory of any astral experiences. So if you can remember your astral travels, maybe that's why. So let's talk a bit about the chakrams. They are in total 10 apparently. However, we will discuss only 7 of them because the lower ones, so number 8, 9 and 10, they're called the lower organs, and the author simply didn't want to touch on the subject and these are his words, these are not to be used by students of white magic. Again, I don't have any information on this, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Right, so the first one is the base of the spine. Second one is the belly button. Third one is the spleen. Fourth one is the heart. Fifth one is the throat. Sixth one is between the eyebrows. And seventh is the top of the head. All of these chakrams do have different functions astrally and different functions etherically. I'm not going to get into that because there's a lot of detail there. So let's move on. The map there of the etheric double itself is constantly being thrown out of your body through your pores. So people that sit next to each other are sometimes liable to absorb each other's etheric emanations. A piece of advice that I found in the book, which I found quite good in general, not specifically for the etheric double, is that for any student of occultism, not to force in any way their development of psychic powers, but to wait for these to unfold as they would do normally. And this way you will gain all the benefits and you will avoid any dangers. I was quite curious as well, since I started the book, to know about how these bodies are being created or when. Obviously you are being born into your physical body, but how about the rest? Like, do they come with you, or are they created as you age up? And I actually found out that your etheric double is built in advance for yourself by an elemental. So I thought, oh, that's really interesting. The primary business of these elementals is to construct a mold for your etheric double, and the form and color of this elemental vary in different cases. At first it may seem like the shape and the size of the baby. However, clairvoyants or mediums sometimes see this like doll figure just like hovering about, and they occasionally mistaken it for the soul of the coming baby instead of a mold or just, it's etheric double. And as soon as the baby has grown to be the size of the mold and is ready for the birth, then the work of the elemental has been done and he may leave. After the elemental has retired, whatever further growth of the etheric double is made, then it only depends on yourself or the baby or the child that grows. So even though the elemental is in charge of your etheric double from the first, the ego or the soul or yourself will only come into contact with it further along the way, sometime before the physical birth. In exceptional cases, apparently the elemental may retain its position until the body is 7 years old, which again, apparently this is due to some limitations of the ego or the body or yourself. I will end this here because I feel like it's a lot of information and you may want to Google some of it. I will come back with the second part of the book in episode 2. Let me know how you feel about these series. I feel like it's sometimes relaxing just to listen to a voice rather than watch a video. And I will also try to keep all of these episodes just soft-spoken and not whispered. Again, let me know how you feel about that. But that's all I have for you, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.